Bonestead. 7 World Central Kitchen Aid workers in Gaza were killed Monday by an Israeli airstrike. The food delivery humanitarian aid group started by Chef Jose Andres says it's halted operations in Gaza after bringing tons of food for Palestinians in the war-torn region that's on the brink of famine. According to the organization, the team was traveling in a deconflicted zone in 2 armored cars branded with the WCK logo and was coordinating movements with the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. A statement said the convoy was hit as it was leaving the Deir al-Bala warehouse, where the team had unloaded more than 100 tons of humanitarian food aid brought to Gaza on a maritime route. The organization called the strike devastating. Its CEO, Eric Gore, calls the strikes unforgivable. Israel's prime minister called the strikes unintended. The dead were from the U.S. and Canada, UK, Poland, Australia, and Gaza. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is calling for accountability.
Australia expects full accountability for the deaths of aid workers, which is completely unacceptable. Aid workers and those doing humanitarian work, and indeed all innocent civilians, need to be provided with protection.
The United Nations Special Rapporteur to the occupied Palestinian territories is calling for sanctions and indictments on Israel. The United Nations says some 160 of its aid workers have been killed since Israel's war in Gaza, spurred by Hamas's attack in Israel on October 7th. Cyprus says a 3-ship convoy is turning back from Gaza with around 240 tons of undelivered food aid after Israel's strike on aid workers. The convoy left Cyprus Monday with enough food to prepare more than 1 million meals. Meanwhile, Egypt's state-run Al Kahara TV says truce negotiations between Israel and Hamas will resume Sunday, citing an unnamed Egyptian security source. The Biden administration is considering an $18 billion arms sale to Israel. This comes after it approved sending more than 2,000 bombs to the country. Media reports say Israel is moving to ban the network Al Jazeera that once broadcast on Pacifica radio under a new national security threat law. Iran is vowing to respond to what's believed to be an Israeli airstrike on the Iranian consulate in Syria's capital, Damascus, killing 8, including 2 Iranian generals. Iran State TV reported today the country's Supreme National Security Council met late Monday and decided on a required response to the strike. Monday's strike signals an escalation because it struck an Iranian diplomatic mission and another sign of a widening conflict in the Middle East. Officials say Ukrainian drones have attacked a major oil refinery and a drone factory in the province of Tatarstan in what appears to be Kiev's deepest strike inside Russian territory since Russia invaded Ukraine more than 2 years ago. FSN's Megumi Lim reports.
Ukraine's military intelligence agency said the attack against Russia's Republic of Tatarstan on Tuesday hit a manufacturing facility for Shahid-type attack drones, which are frequently used in assaults against Ukrainian territory. Photographs posted online suggested that one of the drones also hit a unit at Tatarstan's Taneko oil refinery, which accounts for roughly half of its annual production capacity. Over the past few weeks, Ukraine has stepped up its attacks against Russian oil refineries and industrial facilities using its long-range drones. Megumi Lim in Kyiv.
In the U.S., Florida's Supreme Court upheld the state's 15-week abortion ban, clearing the way for the state's 6-week abortion ban to go into effect. At 6 weeks, many women don't know if they're pregnant. But under a separate ruling Monday, Florida's High Court is allowing a ballot measure to go to voters that would enshrine abortion rights in Florida's state constitution. The ACLU of Florida said in a statement the court rejected an attempt by Florida to limit government interference in their ballot measure. The state's attorney general challenged the proposed ballot measure to enshrine abortion rights before the state courts. Presidential primaries take place in 4 states today: Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin, though it's largely a symbolic vote now that both Joe Biden and Donald Trump have locked up the nominations in the Democratic and Republican parties, they're expected to win the respective primaries. The Sunrise Climate Change Movement is calling on young voters to vote uncommitted or uninstructed on the ballot in the swing state of Wisconsin. Michelle Weindling, political director of Sunrise Movement, said in a statement the president's best chance to succeed in November is by supporting an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Quote, the president is hemorrhaging the support of young voters by aiding in the destruction of people's lives and homes in Gaza. If Biden wants to defeat Trump, he must listen to young people, people of color, and the working class who put him in office in 2020 and change course, unquote. I'm Christina Onestad, reporting for Pacifica Radio.